Hello, once again. My name is Brian Wanchisto. I've come to talk about what we call mail merge. This is a unit in word processing, and basically, mail merge is a feature that is used in most word processing applications. It enables users to send a single document to multiple recipients. It enables connection of a single template with a data source that contains information about recipients' names, recipient addresses, or any other information that may be deemed necessary to embed into any external document, something of that kind. So basically, that is a brief preamble about Microsoft Office Mail Merge tool. Well, let's get into the practical bit of this session. Briefly, we are going to use Microsoft Office Word 2016 version, and when I look at this document here that I'm going to be using, it's more or less like a letter. Of course, all of us have been through school and you know how a demand note would look like. So you have maybe, say, your daughter, Nanyonjo Habiba, class of maybe senior 5, has an outstanding balance of fees, maybe 200. Therefore, the school has decided to send your daughter home to collect the said sum. The school administration finds it exceedingly difficult to run normally. Your cooperation in this matter will be appreciated with great urgency. For any questions, do not hesitate to call the school bursar for clarification. Okay, of course, the school motto here may be the school motto, and of course the signature of the bursar happens to be here. Habiba Nanyonjo and Habiba Nanyonjo as the school bursar. Then when you look down here, we are going to use this as our address list, a list of the different recipients that we are supposed to send this letter to. The names are here, the genders are here, the classes are here, and the school fees balances are here for the individual students. Therefore, what we first do is let the letter look like a letter. Of course, I'll first change this field here. You come to insert, then I go to quick parts, the date. I will go to quick parts. Click at quick parts, then field, and I'll tap D on my keyboard twice, and you'll see the date appearing there. So the date appears here, and we all know the sender's address is sometimes supposed to be on our top right corner. So we have our sender's address there, the recipient's address is here, then the salutation is here, the reference is here. Normally we make the reference a bit bold and underlined, of course, with 2 lines. Okay, and it's sometimes supposed to be in uppercase. Change it to uppercase here, and also in the center of the document, something of that kind. So yeah, basically our letter looks like this. I'll insert a page break here, layout, then page breaks, and I'm going to insert a mere page break just to end the page here for our first letter. Okay, yeah, we can now start our mail merge. The first thing is you come to mailings. Okay, then when you get to mailings, come to start mail merge, click on the drop down and ask to go step by step mail merge feature. When you look at my extreme right hand, you will see a mail merge wizard here, a step by step guide to help you in performing or executing a task on your computer, something of that kind. So you read the questions here and answer them respectively. So the first question is asking you what type of document are you working on, and by default it asks for a letter. In case you're working on a letter, it's okay. If you're working on maybe an email message, you can also use that. If you're working on envelopes or labels, directories, any of them, you can choose the alternatives from here, and the rest of the procedures will be similar. So I'm going to choose letter for this case and say next. Then they'll ask you, how do you want to set up your letter? Do you want to use a current document? Because I already have a document that is currently open here, and it's the one I'm using. Or you want to open a document that is already saved on your computer maybe, or you need to start from a template, something of that kind. So those are the three options here. I'll choose the first one here and say use the current document and go to the next step here. That is my third step, and they will ask you to select recipients list. Remember we said we do not have a recipients list as per now, so we need to type our list. Okay, so you type a new list, and of course the create tool here will become very active. I can click at create here. Okay, once you create, you're going to see a few a database like a window that is popping up here, and it has uh, a list of fields that you can use. You can see we have title, first name, last name, middle name, company name, address line 1, city, state, zip code, country, or so many others. And some of these we may never find important. When we look at our list down here, my recipients list here, you see we have only 1, 2, 3, 4 fields: the name, gender, class, and fees. So when I come to create my list here, I can come to customize columns, and I'll delete the columns that I do not need. Just click at a column, click at a field and delete. Then you'll say yes. Click at a field, delete, yes. So you realize I've deleted almost all of them, and I need to add my own fields, like my own fields. So I'm going to add my first field as name. Click at add, and you add a new field, gender. And lastly, fees. So once you've created your new fields that you want to use, you can click at OK here, and the next thing you're going to do is enter this data into these fields here. So I'm going to enter the data one by one. Just click in the next record, and the NumLinda layer is a daughter. Of course, the fees balance is 120,000. Okay, something of that kind. So after creating the first record, you come and click at new entry to add another record. Once you've completely entered all your recipients into your database or into your form here, where we're entering the list of recipients, you can click at OK here, and they'll ask you to save your list of recipients. So I normally advise my students to save your list of recipients in a known location. So I'm going to save it in my desktop in a folder called Y10 Practical, and yep, I save it as, of course, we were given a name somewhere here that says fees source. Okay, fees source, and I'll save it. Then after saving, they're going to ask you, in case you need to carry out any sorting, you can decide to sort this according to fees balance. Okay, and the sort in which order, ascending or descending. Those who have the highest amount of money should come first, and those who have the smallest amount of money should come last. So that is descending order, from big to small, or from small to big. So I've sorted according to fees. After the merge has been performed successfully, you will see that. So I can click at OK here and go to the next step. So I have completed that, and I come back to my working area here where my letter is. And of course, after creating my list of recipients here, you can edit the list from here. In case you need to carry out any editing, or you sorted something wrongly and it wasn't supposed to be sorted, you can remove and you say none, and I OK here. Then I also say OK here, and we can go now to the next step. Okay, the next step says write your letter now. This is where I want everybody to pay keen attention here, where you're going to have write your letter now, and you can have now importing of fields into our letter here. What you do is put the cursor where you want to put maybe a field. So here we are supposed to put the parent of the name of the student. So I'm going to remove this placeholder here. I backspace and leave the cursor there. Then I come and click at more items and click at name and insert. Then I will close. I come and click. You see that the field has now changed to name with search parentheses. Okay, so I'm going to come and remove class, and I come and click at more items and click at class and insert and close. So you see name and class are appearing there. I'm going to remove this. You can choose to highlight it, come and click at more items here and gender and insert. Okay, close. You can repeat that until all the fields have been of course, where there is a space, you always place there a space. You repeat the same process and until you filled up all the rest of the placeholders here that are in the document here. So you place a class here. We continue and look for fees somewhere here. Okay, fees. We're going to place fees here. Is there any other field that we might be leaving behind? So for purposes of identification, I'm going to change the color of the merged fields. I'm going to give them maybe, can I use a light green color, and of course bold them and increase their size to a bit bigger, 16, so they can vividly be seen. We're going to highlight this, increase to 16, make it bold, and highlight color. The text color should be blue. I'm also going to change these fields here to bold, text color blue, and increase to 16, something of that kind, so they can vividly be seen in our final letter. Then after you've replaced all those fields that require replacement, you can now come to back to your wizard here, and of course you go to the next step after placing the fields in the desired locations. You can now go to the next step, and the next step will ask you to preview letters. So you see the first letter is going to the parent of Namlinda Leah, senior 1, okay, and it says, or it reads, your daughter Namlinda Leah, senior 1, has an outstanding fees balance of shillings 120,000. So the letter now makes some bit of sense. We can preview our letters on your right in the pen here. You see where there is recipient 1. You can go to the second recipient, third recipient, fourth recipient, fifth recipient, sixth recipient, and the seventh recipient. So you have 6 different letters that you can preview here. So when you get to your 6th step and you have already previewed your letters, you can now see we have the first recipient here, and I can choose, I don't want to have this blank space here. I'm going to delete this blank page there, so I can now come to the next step, the 6th and last step, where I ask you to mail merge is ready to produce your letters. So I can now edit individual letters or ask the computer to print, but I'll ask, of course, the first thing is to edit individual letters, and when you ask to edit individual letters, just make sure you have all records selected, and you click at OK. So you'll have all your 6 letters in, or all the letters in one document here. After this, you can now save this document. Also, you save it as my final letters. Maybe I'm going to save it in a folder here, Y10 practical lessons, and I'm going to save it as maybe my merged letters, okay, something of that kind. So I save my document, and yeah, basically that is that. You also need to save the parent document. You should always be able to save the parent document. Well, we have a document, we have a template like this, and yeah, it's a certificate that is supposed to go out to a list of candidates, maybe a list of people who participated in the IT. I just need to delete this blank page here. I'm going to kindly zoom in a bit. Yeah, so we have a blank page like this one here, and I want to delete it. I'll just click at this tool here, the show and hide tool. It helps to show all those hidden features that may be existing in a document. So when I click at this feature here, it's going to show you where the paragraphs end, wherever you pressed enter somehow. It will show you that you pressed an enter key here, pressed an enter key there, you pressed an enter key here, and yeah, you have an enter key pressed here. So what we are doing is eliminating space. And lastly, we have a section break here. So what do? I just put my cursor at the beginning of the section break and tap the delete key on my keyboard, and that page will disappear. So someone may be asking themselves, how do we delete pages in Microsoft Office Word? Or you can do it that way, or you come to of course, you can also come to view and ask to view the navigation pane. Then in your navigation pane, you have headings, pages, and of course, results. So you always tap on these pages icon here, and they will show you the list of pages that you have. So you can just click at a page here and delete. Then the page will always be deleted. Okay, something of that kind. So we can get back to our document that we are working on today. I'm going to kindly go to home and remove this. Well, we have a document like this, maybe Habis College Kauku, Entebbe. So normally, I advise that for certificates, they should always be on a page that is a landscape page. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to insert a section break here, and I want to change this first page here into the landscape format, so I can design it as a certificate and leave this other page as a portrait. However, later on I'll have to delete this after I've entered my recipients list into of course the database, where I'll pick these lists and merge them into my data. So we can start our mail merge now. I'm going to first insert a section break. So I come to layout here, then I come to breaks, and I'll put next page here. Okay, next page. So when I put next page here, I have a blank page here, but I don't need the blank page. So what I'll do, I'm going to click in this page here, then I come to orientation and change the orientation to landscape. Okay, so my orientation has been changed to landscape, but the page 2 and page 3 have remained in portrait orientation. That's what I wanted. So basically, most cases you'll find certificates appearing in a landscape format. So that is why I have this. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to change this and apply some word art here. So I cut that out and I come to insert, then I'll ask for word art. I'm going to use this kind of letter there, and I'll put my text there. So here I have my text. Kindly come down here and press enter. So my text here can be spaced a bit. When I double click in this text, I can choose to use this. I'm going to design it a bit. I need to increase the size here. So I have my title like that. I'm going to change all this to center alignment. Of course, I'm going to increase the size slightly, and I'll be making sure it doesn't exceed the page. Increase again slightly like that. Of course, the signatories are going to be two, the head teacher and the chairperson or the patron of the club. So I'll cut this away, come here and insert maybe a shape. Right click in the shape and edit, add data, add text there. Then I can add my person who is going to be my signatory. I'll get another shape. I can change my shape outline here to no theme, and of course the fill color to no color. Okay, something of that kind. I'm going to copy this and paste it here. So I will change this to headmaster. So I need to insert, I need to make sure these are on the same line. I need to insert a line, maybe. I'm going to insert a shape, and I'll pick a straight line. We have a certificate like this, and the heading is like that, and the certificate of course is going out to the certificate of appreciation. We can change, I'm going to remove this text from here, put some little space here, and I'm going to put it in a text box. Something of that kind. Okay. And I'll change this to look like a certificate font. Okay. Yeah, so we can now start our merge. Like we said before, we have our certificate ready now, and we are ready now to perform our mail merge. So the first thing is you go to mailings, then start mail merge. Then of course you'll go through a step-by-step mail merge, and well, you get back to our our mail merge wizard here, where they ask you. We can still use maybe letters, just We can also still use letters, and you go to the next step. They'll ask you which type of document, how do you want to set up your letter, and you want to use the current document which is open. You can go to the next step, and now they ask you for the recipients, and you type a new list because you do not have the list already. So you can create your list now, and when you create your list, you can always customize and delete whatever you do not want. Just delete, tap the delete key, click at the field you don't want, tap the delete key. And I have now title and first name. So I'm just going to rename these two fields into my list. Down here is supposed to be a list of maybe, let me check, I should be having a list of post and name. So I'm going to name this as, I'm going to move this down first. I move it down, then I have first name up. I'm going to rename it and call this just the name. And I'm going to call this one, rename this and call it maybe post. Okay here, and again click at OK here. So I have now only the two records here. So I'll be required to enter the list of recipients now, and my list of recipients is just down here on. So the names are here, and of course, so the first name is, and the post is chairperson. After entering the first field, I can create a new entry here. And I want to add just one last member here, who is Nanyonjo Habiba. Who is going to be our advisor. So after you've entered all your lists of the members, you can now click at OK here, and the computer will prompt you to save your list of recipients. So I want to save it on the desktop in a folder called Year 10 Practical, and I'll call this maybe Club Posts. Okay, so I save it here, and yeah, I can decide to sort it according to maybe, okay, I don't want to put any sorting. I can click at OK here to complete the saving. So the next thing that we are supposed to do is, of course, fill up the spaces where you have to put maybe the name, you put the name there. Where you have to put the post, you put the post there. So this certificate is awarded to, we put the name here, right, in this space here. I'm going to go to the next step here, which asks you to write your letter, and I place my cursor where I want to put the name. The certificate is awarded to, and I'll click at more items here. Then of course I'll tap on, click at name and insert. Then I can close. Insert once and close. Then of course the next thing will be the post, and I'll click at the post here. Just click at where I want to put the post and click at more items and insert. Click at post and insert the post. Then I can close. Just tap, click, click, click once. So I have my name here and my post here. I'm going to slightly increase the size of this to about 18. Okay, and I'm going to give it a red color, and I'm going to give it a new font style, which is Algerian. Okay, so it will be like that. The same thing is going to happen to this. I'll say Algerian. The size is 18. The color is blue, is red. Okay, the color is red. Okay, well, we have our certificate ready now, and I think we can now edit it. Just need to place this in the middle here, place it in the middle here, something of that kind. So we can now go to the next step and say maybe I want to preview my letters, and you can now see the chairperson. Just need to make sure this is in the center, actual center, something of that kind. Okay, so you have the chairperson, Nanoka. Going to remove these lines here. And these lines here also. So I'm going to put this right here. It should be in the center. Okay, same thing can happen here. And I put it in the center there. Okay, so I can preview my different letters. Like you can see now, the third, the 6th, and the 7th. The 8th is Nanyanja Habiba, the Executive Advisor, Finance. Okay, so we have our letter complete. However, we can decide to maybe add a page border. So you come to layout, however, you can decide to just beautify the certificate a little more by adding a few features like background color. We can also decide to add maybe a page border. So what you do is just click in anywhere in the page, then you go to design, and when you get to design, you can ask for page borders. Okay, when you get to page borders, I can choose to either use select of course a page border, a box border here, or I can decide to select a page border there. Then you choose which kind of border you want. Maybe I want to use a 3D border. I can give it a width of maybe 6 points, and also give it a color which may be I'm going to use a water blue color. Okay, and I can click at OK here. So you'll have your page bordered like this, something of that kind. So your certificate will look like this. Alternatively, I can choose to, of course, I want to first delete these blank pages here, including the list here. What you need to do is I'm going to kindly zoom in a little bit like this. Then I'll come to, of course, I can come to view and go to navigation. Then I'll come to home and add this feature that shows me the different page breaks. So there is a section break here that I'm going to delete. And once that section break is deleted, there is another one here that I need to delete. Okay, so once that is deleted, I'm going to Now I'm going to delete these names here, and yeah, once that is done, I can go back to layout once again and change my layout to landscape, and yeah, my orientation to landscape. Yeah, so once I've deleted all that is unnecessary, I can now go back to layout and change my orientation back to landscape, because it had earlier on changed. Then I can come back home and remove this, and yeah, you have your certificate just like this. So I can exit this window and I have my certificate like this. So I can decide to add maybe some, I want now to use maybe page borders that are artistic a bit, some kind of art. So you still come to page borders, and instead of choosing any kind of border style here, I'm going to use art. And I can maybe decide to use any, can I use maybe this, and I can add the art there. Just make sure it doesn't cover up your text, so you need to lower this slightly. Lower this slightly so it doesn't cover up the text. Okay, so we have our certificate like that. We can also add maybe a page color, something of that kind. Then the next thing that you need to do is, after you've added a page color, you can also complete your mail merge just by clicking here to complete the mail merge. Okay, and once you complete the mail merge, they'll ask you to edit individual letters. Then you can edit all, and just make sure all is selected here, then click at OK, and you're going to have all your certificates appearing here. Okay, but they're appearing here without a page color, so we need to add the page color still in this new document. What you need to do is just come to design and add your page color, which was a water blue color. So you have your certificates all like this, and we are awarding our certificates to our different participants of the club, something of that kind. So I want to end this here for today, and yeah, we can call it a completed session of mail merge. Then, of course, the other thing can be, what if you're given a recipients list and you're asked to merge it, of course, with any other document?